Hard to believe it's Mother's Day week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday is Mother's Day. This month is flying. It just started yesterday. It's crazy. Hey, so you know the duck boats? Is that what they call them? The duck boats in Boston? They'll take you for the little tour and they go into the water, right?
They have them in Albany, too.
Do they have them in Albany?
Mm-hmm.
29-year-old Plattsburgh woman has died after the scooter she was driving was struck by one of those duck boats.
Oh, no.
Yeah, very sad. Well, these scooters are terrible. And if you go on vacation or you go to someplace like Bermuda, everybody gets on the scooters, and what's the number one cause of accidents in these tourist areas? These scooters. You put these people on, they don't know how to drive them.
Right.
And they're riding around because it doesn't even require a driver's license. Or maybe you just need a driver's license, but you don't need a special license to ride a scooter. And they don't know what they're doing. The Boston Globe reports that the crash happened around 11:30 a.m. Saturday night near the Boston Common. Police say Allison Warmuth and her male passenger were taken to Massachusetts General Hospital. She died from her injuries. The passengers suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say there were about 30 passengers on the vehicle when the crash happened. So that vehicle, it drives on land and then goes into the water. And Starbucks is being sued. And I'm not sure where I am on this. Did you see what this suit is all about?
No.
I'm not sure where I am. There's a woman in Illinois that's reportedly suing Starbucks for $4.5 million over the amount of ice that Starbucks puts in its cups. But don't you know, I mean, your dad works in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
So you know, right, that, or is it something that everybody knows, that restaurants put ice in drinks because you use less liquid?
Yes.
I mean, you put ice in drinks to keep them cold, but you know it's a well-known fact that the more ice you put in, the less liquid, right? There's more money being made.
That's right.
So is her complaint basically I'm paying for a 20-ounce, for
Correct.
instance?
24-ounce to be exact. Stacy Pincus accuses the coffee chain of packing almost half of their cold beverages with ice as a means to skimp on serving actual coffee to customers, according to the suit. When it comes to ordering a 24-ounce venti coffee, for example, Pincus claims a customer only receives 14 ounces of actual coffee, and ice takes up the remaining 10. The miffed customer further notes that the hot Starbucks beverage typically costs less than the cold ones, even though they contain more coffee because of the lack of ice.
Well, I would say, I mean, in general, you have to expect that. When you go through, I'll just use McDonald's, you go through the drive-thru, I believe you can ask, can I have a soda with no ice?
Yeah, you could, yeah.
They'll honor that. But obviously, if you need an iced coffee or, a cooled coffee, you're going to have to cool it somehow. The thing is, though, with like McDonald's, it's like $1 or $1.50 for a large drink. But it's Starbucks. Don't they have outrageous prices?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, she's probably paying $6-7 for this drink, and half of it is ice.
Starbucks, a spokesperson says, our customers understand and expect that ice is an essential component of any iced beverage. The spokesperson stated, adding that the company would remake any beverage if a customer is unsatisfied. If they, for instance, wanted to have their iced coffee without any ice, which doesn't make any sense to me,
Correct.
They could have such a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense to me. Now, where it was different, for instance, I had when I was, because we don't really have many Starbucks around here. There's a couple. But when I was in
for Bill.
In Florida, I ordered the Octi, I call it, which is 8 shots of espresso, otherwise known as the heart attack or the stroke. You could call it either one. But that was the full 8 shots, and they didn't have the right size. They didn't know which cup to put it in. So they're like, well, should we put it in this cup? And because I ordered one on ice. That was pretty good, too.
I can picture you walking around Orlando like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Well, I forget what he was saying, my cornholio or something, but he was so amped up on coffee, he couldn't sit still.
It does really get you rolling, and I don't drink coffee, so this is all new territory.
Grace is like tired. It's like the middle of the afternoon. She's like had a long day already, and Bill's like, "Come on, let's ride a ride.
Let's go.
Come on, let's get on Splash Mountain. Come on.
What are you running for? We should be really running." My wife says that one shot of one espresso is like 4 cups of coffee. So if you're doing
so
eight,
funny.
if you're doing eight shots of espresso, you're doing 32 cups of coffee.
And this is
all
a guy
in a single cup.
who doesn't drink coffee.
And I don't.
He
Yeah.
goes
He
from
does now.
0 cups
Yeah,
to
yeah.
32 cups an hour.
I think I'm addicted. And here's the best part. You got it. So they're like, you go over to the Starbucks and you grab this whatever, and it's eight shots of espresso. And you go to get on one of those rides, and they're like, I'm sorry, you have to finish the drink before you come in. We were going into the Hall of Presidents. They wouldn't let you have, so I'm chugging this thing. So within a matter of 5 minutes, I've had, 32 cups of coffee.
And that's
So
a
there you
cool.
have
I
it.
mean, that's a cool exhibit. But I think with that much coffee, you must have been freaking out. In there.
Yeah. Why aren't they moving faster?
It's like they're animatronic presidents, and I would be freaking out. About
I
it.
Yeah,
love that
yeah.
exhibit. I always cry. My kids always make fun of it because I always cry. It just seems so patriotic.
Yeah.
And,
Well, they do the 9/11 as a part of it now.
oh, I didn't
So
know.
Oh, really?
that
Got
is
it, I'm a mess.
that is extremely
Oh
touching.
no, I think I did see it.
yeah, very touching.
By the way, did you catch over the weekend this flap over the Will Ferrell, Ronald Reagan movie?
Oh, this is crazy.
No, so what is it? I heard something, but what are we talking about here?
Apparently, he was going to be involved in. As of Friday, his agents have said he's not pursuing this, but it was reported that he was looking to do a comedy about Ronald Reagan and Alzheimer's, and basically,
Well, that would be fun.
the plot of the movie.
Wow.
The plot of the movie, as I understand it, was that he was, President Reagan, and then at some point, the movie shifts to they're convincing him that he's playing the president in real life, and obviously the funny things that might happen along with that. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly,
So
but
so I thought it was just a movie about his final, his final years, like the time he had Alzheimer's.
yeah, no, this is supposedly was
While he's still
a comedy.
Well, some say that while he was still president, he was that was the early signs of Alzheimer's, and it was a real problem. But you can really never get the straight answer whether that was true or not. People always deny that and say it wasn't true. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure there's been enough time in between. Do you think?
I don't
been
think
I
so.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Clearly not.
Well, and the conservative icon, right? Even though really, when you look at things, Reagan would be a little too liberal for today's conservative icons.
Although
I guess.
I was speaking to somebody over the weekend who was a big Reagan fan, and he was very adamant about the fact that he will never see another Will Ferrell movie again just because
of that?
him
Yeah.
wanting to do a film.
Yeah. Andrew, I want to ask you, you worked at Disney, and I had a few questions about the underground.
Oh, sure.
And I guess I didn't know. I knew there were underground tunnels, but I guess I didn't know that the Disney that you go to is really the second floor.
It is. Yeah.
So they built the first floor, which would be all the tunnels, and then on top of that is what. So we'll talk about that coming up just quickly. I want to know. I have a few questions after
Sure.
being down there for
Smelly
a week.
place.
Bet it is. 6:48. Here's Christine with an update. Good morning, Monday morning.